when I'm with BW, it's a time where I actually do something with my passion. To put it simply, it is my passion, it is also my career, and it's also my hobby.
Hey all, this is Amir. He's from Johor and he has been an avid car enthusiast for over a decade. He's currently staying in KL where he works alongside a car group called BackWheelB or BWB for short. They specialize in Kaido racer style cars, they go around to different car shows, they do client work, and have a really sick HQ right here in KL. His first exposure to the car scene was through movies and local car show magazines. However, growing up in Johor proved to be quite detrimental to his love for cars, as most car shows and events that he was interested in happened in KL, which was about a 3.5 hour drive away. As time passed, however, Amir went from enjoying cars passively by consuming popular media to actively immersing himself in the culture through his work at BWB and finally building his own project car. We're talking to him today as part of a project called Synesthesia, where we explore, document, and immerse ourselves in the niche hobby spaces in KL. If you want to learn more about our project and why it exists, you can check out the description of the video for more resources. Now, without further delay, let's get into the video. All right, so we're live on camera. All right,
Yep.
so can you introduce yourself a little bit?
So I'm Amir Mika Hakim. I am doing a lot of stuff here and there, but right now I'm with BWB and I help them with stuff here and there, graphic design, with logistics, and also with whenever we're running an event, I'm usually behind the booth talking about the cars, selling our merch. So basically, sort of PR, salesman, and a bunch of stuff here and there.
Right. So it sounds like you're pretty like involved with BWB, right?
Yeah.
All right. So since it's established that you're kind of like pretty like in the scene with BWB,
Mm.
how did you first discover it?
So I first discovered them is back around 2011, 2012. That's when I started buying local car magazines,
Mm-hmm.
and they covered like local car events. They covered featured cars, and back then, like during these events, there's always like these cars that always stand out, and they're always pretty cool. And when you go through their social media, they do like they built pretty different cars back then compared to like, what people around the scene was building. So I found out about them, and I've been following them since 2011, like pretty early, and now I'm basically part of it.
Right. Damn. Since 2011, that's quite a long time. Okay. So what was your first impression on the community, like the car community, before becoming a part of BWB?
So my first impression of the community back then is that I thought this was always been like an older generation type of thing. But the more I look into it, the more I realize that there's a mix of like older people and newer gens.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's since I've known that it's available, like there's like a mix of people. I know that it's quite welcoming. So like I know it's like pretty easy to approach.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. So what does a typical day look like to you when you're doing stuff that's affiliated with like BWB?
So I would sleep before the day started. I would already been like sleeping pretty late, running managing stuff like packing up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So and I would wake up around 9 and be the first on site at the booth or at the location, and then just taking around cars, taking pictures, and then when the rest of the crew is there, I'll be there to behind the booth and just start like be there interacting with people. But once in a while, I'll like take a break and just walk around the event.
Right. All right. So we're mainly talking about this like in regards to when BWB is being like a part of another event.
Mm.
So like for example like maybe for Retro Havoc, right? You
Yeah.
guys showed up for Retro Havoc as well,
Yep.
right? Cool. All right. So here's my other set of questions. Now these will be regarding your personal connection to what you are into and also
Mm.
BWB as well.
Yep.
But what drives you to keep being a part of BWB and as a group and space?
For me, it's all about the experience and just being part of the experience, but at the same time, I also want to have other people to be able to join the experience and live it with me.
Mm-hmm. So in a way, you kind of like wish to spread what you felt about the car community to other
Yes,
people as well. Right.
yes, exactly.
Cool. So how does being at BWB make you feel compared to let's say being at home or being at work? Because well, as we all know, BWB is like a in a way in its own third space, right? Because it's not really like a working space, but at the same time, it's not really a place for people to stay. It's
Yeah.
where a group of people who are passionate for cars and like the condo style cars can be together and like
Yeah.
have a shared space in a way. So how does being here make you feel compared to being at home or being at work?
For me, being here, there's always interesting stuff happening. Like we'll always if it's not the stuff that we discuss, but it's sometimes like the places that we go. Like okay, we start. Let's say we're originally here, but suddenly we'll probably like be somewhere else. Like we like checking out cars, checking out parts,
Right.
and um, finding another like moving from place to place to hang out. But sort of like that.
Right, right. Okay. And what's something that you can only experience when you're around or with BWB? Like something that you can't experience potentially maybe like with other groups or with other spaces.
For me, it's that I've um, just by the niche of our group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to sound like I'm bragging, but there's only one of us here.
Right.
So it's one unique experience that only I can be with only if I'm here. Only if
Mm,
I'm with BWB.
right. And that being like maybe the kind of cars or the
Yeah.
kinds of collections that you see here basically.
Yeah, the kind of cars, the shared passion. There's still people out there with the same passion, but they're not at the level of like an enthusiast. They don't exactly have the cars. They don't exactly have the parts. They have interest into the topic, but they don't. But not. But they didn't. But they haven't really begun their journey to it.
Right. Gotcha, gotcha. All right, so this one's gonna be an interesting question, but try describing this place, like BWB HQ, only using your input senses. So, what does what does BWB feel like? What is the texture? What could it smell like? What could it taste like even?
Only smell and okay, sensory inputs.
Sensory inputs, yeah.
There's always like colorful texture, colorful lights, textures of all the vintage stuff. There's always the smell of food when the cafe is cooking,
Right, right, right.
and when cars turn up, like they sound very unique. Like you don't really hear the sound of very mechanical and carbureted engine nowadays,
Right, a lot of cars are a lot more like technologically advanced, right?
and they're more silent nowadays, and like it's just an assault on just your sensories, everything.
Right. So in a way, everything is kind of like maximalist here.
Maximalist, pretty much.
I see, I see. That's cool. All right. So, next set of questions. Now, this is going to be regarding like the social aspect of BWB. So, what kind of people usually come here?
Usually they have one shared interest, which is they love cars,
Right.
but their backgrounds will always be very different.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have like you got salarymen, you got businessmen, you got older generation, newer generation. There's even like teenagers getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
There's also teenagers and even like older gen people who for them this is a very like new experience for them.
Right. Right. Okay. So, are the regulars who come to this place are just people associated with BWB? Can people who are technically not be part of the group still kind of hang out here as well?
We've always welcomed newer people to come here. That's why whenever on social media, like we always like go through
Mm.
like comments and everything, and when we're down uh on the field at events, like I always like invite people to come to our shop because like uh since we don't exactly like publicly announce that we like put adverts and everything. So
Right.
it's people. A lot of people in the community knows about us, but people who aren't really uh, uh, involved, they don't really know about this place.
Right. And even if they did, I think for communities and whatnot, there's always going to be like a sense of intimidation to come and try new
Yes.
things, right? And especially I feel like with our generation and myself included, I'm not just gonna talk, like talk shit about like people of oh Gen Z or Gen Alpha, they can't do shit or they're scared of doing new things. But I think there really is this sense of intimidation to try new things sometimes because it can be quite scary when you're discovering things that are not quite in your comfort zone.
That is also like in being intimidated because it's in like not in their comfort zone is one thing, but for us in general, like people have always been intimidated of us because they thought we were like elitist, selective, but it's
Mm,
just that what people thought of us. So
right.
whenever I get to like talk to people who've known about us but
Mhm,
never really involved like directly talk to us, like I'll
mhm.
tell them like we're pretty chill. It's just that people thought we are scary. We're gonna like be elitist and like selective of people that hang out, but no, it's just that what people think and they haven't really found out the truth because they haven't really talked directly to us.
Right, right. Genuinely, I think I feel that because when I first saw the cars at Retro Havoc, I was when I first saw them, they kind of radiated this very edgy, but not in a bad way. It was edgy in a way where it was kind of fancy, but it also felt quite rugged. And
Yeah.
I assumed, well, that's my bad, but I assumed that that same vibe that I got from the cars would then be reflected onto the people. I thought they would be rough around the edges, but when I came here, it really felt like I was welcomed. It's almost as if I was with them for like the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really don't understand that. So, generally speaking, how do people interact with each other here? Do you guys talk about car centric stuff usually, or do conversations just happen naturally and you just kind of go from there?
Most of the times, like people that hang out here, like they always first thing in mind is always cars. But as conversation goes, like it always turn into a thing like, okay, what's the next photo shoot we'll do? Like where to eat
Right,
and let's go thrifting. It's just stuff like that.
right. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like all the time about the cars.
Yes.
Right. Are there any rituals here in BWB? So are there like any do's or don'ts that is kind of like a silent rule thing going on here?
Just be nice.
Just be nice. Okay, just be nice. All right. Now, compared to other car-centric spots, like like other car meet places or other cafes that were themed around cars that we've been to, right?
Yeah.
What do you think visitors will think or notice at first when they come to BWB?
That's a bit of a hard question, but I would say if anything, it's just very different visually because it's not really the stuff here that exist that are in this place. It's the even it sort of is a collection. It's
Mm-hmm.
curated,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not sterile.
Right.
And um, if anything, I need to like look into it a bit more. But from all the other friends that I've brought here, like they always thought like this is something different.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Personally, I think from my experience at least, I think a lot of like the car hangout spots in Malaysia is always themed around the same base material, right? So it's either like Initial D themed or it's always themed around like street racing or tuning. But this place really felt more like a vintage collection at times.
The stuff that we have here, it is mostly themed around a very specific era of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still themed, but it's a more bigger scope.
Right.
Like if it's like something relate if it's something like theme like anime theme
Mm-hmm.
just like or something imitating like what's done in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But this is more than that. It's not just the looks. It's also the music. It's also the looks, the vibe, the music, and even sometimes like you can still find like old era stuff but still new. So it's something you can find like the food and the drinks. It is like that.
Right. So it's not even just about the cars at this point. It's kind of like the other parts of culture and way of living that revolves around this era of cars.
Yes.
I see. That's very cool. All right. So now I would like to talk about the way BWB has personally like impacted you. So how has being around BWB changed you?
For me, um, I've gotten to meet a lot more people, and a lot of the skills I've learned is through CK Naga, the guy that runs BW, the guy that runs the cafe, and also leading the
Mm-hmm.
community. So I picked up a lot of stuff. So indirectly, it's like a job, but at the same time, it's also like mentoring. So I've learned a lot of stuff just by being involved.
Right. That's interesting. So is there anything that you learned about yourself a bit better after interacting with BWB?
It's going above my comfort zone. Like I've done a lot of things where I already said, or I originally said I wouldn't, but in the end I did.
Right.
Like a lot of, like, even the art stuff, I do art on the side, but it's not at a level where I open commissions, so I take commissions.
Mm-hmm.
And through BW we do that. And some, yeah, stuff like that. Just being outside my comfort zone.
Right, right. So like being in places where you don't feel comfortable and needing to be confident in yourself basically.
Yes.
So I guess you could say that being around BWB has made you a more confident person, made you more outgoing maybe even.
I was originally more outgoing, but it's just that when you're around like a more diverse type of crowd, like you need to pick up a lot more things on the go.
Mm-hmm.
And like, and not one two crowds are the same, so it's just you keep learning on the go, and keep your mind on it, like. And also, like, when you're meeting new people, you also have to remember them, because like a lot of these experiences, they revolve around relationships and connections.
Right. Gotcha. So have you found any friendships or experiences that surprised you? Or like, making a friend that you weren't expecting to make, or meeting people that you thought you would never be able to meet in your life?
For me, there's actually a lot of like people, I would say, are celebs that who are surprising, are also into cars, that I got to meet
Mm-hmm.
and hang out whenever I'm hanging out with BWB.
Mm-hmm.
Like, usually for experiences like this, you go to like fan meets and like cinemas or whatever, like when they do like premieres.
Right, right.
But this is in a way more casual setting.
Mm-hmm. I'd say you could say like in a more casual and intimate setting, because you
Yeah.
get, in a way, even though it's casual, you are closer with each other, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What
Okay.
role does this hobby and passion play
Mm.
in your daily life, and how important do you feel BWB is to you? Like, how would
Mm.
you feel your life would be now if you weren't involved with BWB?
If I wasn't involved with BWB, I would be doing like a 9 to 5 job, clock in and clock out.
Right.
I've told myself I do not want to do that.
Right. Okay.
And being involved with them, like, a lot of the jobs that we do and the stuff that I've done, like, it's very commission based,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very liberating, because like I know that I got this, I do this, I get paid, and I don't need to really report to anyone.
Right.
And I wasn't, and I'm also not being spoon fed jobs. Like, I find it, we do it, and we get it, and
Mm-hmm.
we move on to another one. And for me, like, how important PW in my life is, it's I basically, at this point, all the things I do in my life is very automotive related.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm with BW, it's a time where I actually do something with my passion.
Right.
So it's at so to put it simply, it is my passion, It is also my career, and it's also my hobby.
Hell yeah. Got it. Really nice answer. Now, here's where it gets a little bit like philosophical, but now, do you think spaces like this, spaces like BWB or just third spaces in general, are becoming a bit harder to find? There's no right or wrong answer. Do you feel like they're becoming harder to find?
For me, because if it's something like passion related, it's not something you can monetize, but it's a bit difficult to monetize.
Right.
So for spaces like this to exist, they also need to have something that complement the experience or business, so you can, while you can still keep the third space as a hobby, but there's something that funds the operation.
Right. What would it mean for you, or what would it mean to you if BWB disappeared tomorrow? Like, what would happen? Like, I don't mean to be like
Sure,
cynical
I mean,
here,
I
but
know, I know.
like,
I'm
it's
trying.
like,
Yeah, that it is a nice question. Like,
yeah, just to show off like how much this space and this hobby and this passion has really, really impacted you.
honestly, if BW disappeared tomorrow, I would have had to go back to Johor. I would have to move back
Right.
because it's basically life at this point.
Right. So like, I would go as far as to assume that like you would lose kind of like a lot of the drive,
Yes.
the drive in your daily life, basically, right? Because you mentioned that a lot of the things you do every day is now because of BWB.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think? What do you think we lose in the car community when we stop having spaces like this? Like, what would the car community kind of like tangibly lose or not have anymore if there were no more car hangout spots? Not just BWB, but maybe even other like adjacent places.
Honestly, if car spaces no longer exist, while there still can be growth for the community, it'll be either stagnant or stop, because like people still have to meet, go somewhere to meet and have stuff to happen.
Right. This will kind of like flow into my next question pretty nicely. So, why do you think people? Okay. Why do you think people still need to get? Damn. Okay. Okay. Why do you think people still need together physically? Like, even when communities and hobbies and interactions can be had online. Like, for example, like during COVID has proven to us during the lockdown phase that people can actually still do shit online. But why do you feel that it is still important to meet face to face and in person?
Because when you meet, okay, you get, while online you still can talk and discuss stuff, but you lose like the more social aspects. Like you can't really read like someone's like body language. You can't really you can't really see their
Sorry, bro. Wait.
expressions. It's, for me, when you get to like actually see the people around you, like you will feel a lot closer connection. What is it?
Wait, I fucked up.
I know it sounds a bit sus, but it is what it is.
No. Like, cause I couldn't
Yeah.
like I couldn't fucking pronounce the question, and like that made me feel so stupid for a second. Okay, wait, sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay.
No worries.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Genuinely, could you like continue where you left off? Sorry.
Yeah, it's just like that, because like when you get to, okay, when you interacting with people, it's just more than talking. Like you see them, like, like it's just like the usual like handshakes, like
Mm.
um it's just more interaction, is just more than speech.
Right.
So if you're in a digital space, it's just that, it's very limited to that.
Right. So like there just isn't any sort of like it's a bit of a weird way to put it, but there just isn't like any sort of intimacy, I guess, because
Intimacy and sort of skinship at some point.
right, because like I feel like, yeah, talking to people physically just has that sort of feeling that invokes within you that you don't get from typing on a keyboard or doing
Yeah.
vlogs online, right?
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Thank you so much. All right. well, this can be for later, but can you show us something that represents your experience here? Maybe an object, a tool, or a piece of work. Like, could you just bring up like what would represent your work?
So for me, it is like my project car because it's just it all started for me. I've always been the support staff, and that's what I will always wanted to do. But starting next year, it will be to a point where I'm not simply just a support staff. I'll be part of the long snake convoy instead of just being the person on the far back just looking at it. So all the stuff that we've talked about and all the things that we've discussed and it all pretty much like culminated into this.
Right. Do you want to talk more about your car?
For me,
Like, what's your name?
Okay.
Like, what make and model is she?
so it is a 1984 Toyota Cressida. It's like size wise, I would say it's something like a big body sedan. So it's longer, it's a bit lower, and I bought it as it's already a completed project car. So when I with my plans with it, I like basically give it a new refresh, change the look, and give it my own identity.
Right.
And it's sort of like a full circle full circle moment for me because okay, even though I've been to the event where the car was at for many times, like it was the year okay, it was 2019, it was the year where it was basically the last year before COVID shut everything down.
Right.
So I've known about BWB, I've known about the car, but back then I wasn't part of it. So now I am part of BWB, I own the car, and the car when it's finished, it's completely mine.
Right. So I guess, yeah, like you said, it's a full circle moment because you went from someone who, I guess, who wasn't really part of anything. I mean, you liked cars and whatnot, but you weren't really part of anything, right? And then you joined BWB, and you worked from the back lines for a while, and then now that's kind of like all culminated into you having your own car and being part of like the front staff, basically.
Yeah.
Right, cool. All right. So before we end the interview, I've got one surprise for you.
Yo.
Open it.
Nice. It's nice. Nope. Oh, I haven't seen this in a while.
Yeah. All right.
Oh.
So a little surprise gift that I have for you is a disposable camera.
Yeah.
I think you have like what 36 shots with it.
Hmm?
So if possible, I would love for you to take pictures of like your daily life that is revolving around BWB. And when you're done with it, send it back to us so we can kind of like broadcast and display what your experience is with BWB essentially is.
Yeah.
And you know all the little moments that you have in your daily life.
I have to change like some of my camera habits a little bit, but I'm also like looking forward to see like what I will also take.
All right, heck yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. All right. Nice.
Are we? Are we done? Are we done? Yo, it didn't record.
Are you serious? What? You pressed the button, right?
Oh, wait, no.
Oh my god.
Oh, no. It's just, I forgot to zoom in. Okay.
I have everything recorded very nice.